all over the joint. Yeah, I was. I don't know. The contract ran out, but that one was.
They should be all, yeah, but they should be all over you, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with the big man, the bogey man, Jai Opetaia, the one that everyone's scared of.
Well, I don't know, are they? I don't know.
Talk to us back on yet again another Riyadh season card. The experience, your journey's been crazy, to be fair.
Crazy journey, man. It's and I'm so proud to be a part of this card. You know, this main event. I respect both fighters so much. You know, I feel like it's a perfect style matchup. You know, I'm a full fanboy right now. You know, like just the walk forward. You know, Beterbiev against the Bivol, that just cutting angles. It's a fucking awesome matchup, man. I'm keen for this main event, so.
You know, I really like the fact that you're looking forward to that fight, because it's a fight that everybody has been wanting for a long time. These guys, they are the cream of the crop. It seems like with the light heavyweights, there's a massive gap in between, you know, like that world level.
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy. When you look at that fight, how do you see it going?
Man, honestly, I honestly don't know. I'm more leaning just towards Bivol, just because I'm a massive Bivol fan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've been following Bivol for a lot longer, but it's just a great matchup. Hey, it's great. So
when we look at boxing styles, I would say that your style is quite similar to Bivol. Now, talk to us about obviously where you're from, and obviously that Soviet style that he's got, where he is loose and heavy, where he is bouncing in and out. But you seem to have that style with the power. Talk to us about that, the similarities.
Man, it is a lot of similarities. I think it comes a lot from my amateur background as well. You know, like I had 140 amateur, so we traveled around the world, and you know, picking up little things like that. It's like your apprenticeship. You know what I mean? So you always carry that sort of movement and boxing, and you know, the amateurs is like a game of tips in a way. You know, it's like a tap 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 tap. Like touching and not get touched. You know what I mean? It's not so much knockout. But now that we're turned professional, and you know, I've had my hand surgeries, and now that I can actually punch hard, I can add the power into it as well. So it's just adding to the game. You know what I mean? So I'm excited, man. You know, I feel like I'm leveling up. I feel like a whole better version of myself, especially after my last fight. But I'm excited to get in the ring. You know, I'm looking forward to putting on a good clinic.
Bradis, you went back in there for a second time. We saw that last time out, and a good fight, because I'm gonna keep it real with you, Jai. It feels like Bradis is the one that will come in there and does want to fight you. He wants to take your head off just as much as you want to take his off.
Definitely.
And that's what we see in that competition.
Yeah.
Somebody that really gets up for that fight because they believe in themselves. What is that like for you as a competitor when you're going up against it with somebody that wants to hurt you just as much as you want to hurt them?
Honestly, man, that's where respect's earned. You know what I mean? Leaving that ring. The first fight, you know, there was a lot of excuses, and you know, he said, you know, he was sick and stuff like that. But you know, I beat him the second time, and the way I sort of looked up to him coming through the rankings, you know what I mean? Like, he was always at the top of the crop, and I was just working my way through, and I was just, you know, always picturing like, I'm gonna get there. And then the way I beat him last time, you know, fair and square, and then the respect him and his trainer gave me after the fight, you know, that meant a lot. You know what I mean? It felt like I earned their respect, and he knows how hard he trained for that. You know what I mean? He chased me for 2 years. He'd done nothing but think about me. You know what I mean? I was here. I fought in London. I was, you know, fighting Zorro. 2 years. You know, he dreamt of beating me. You know what I mean? So he prepped for me for 2 years. And then I knew that they were going to come to fight. And, you know, he come out with a completely different game plan than what I expected. But, and it's one of those fights that you learn from. You know, I feel like that 12 rounds and being in the ring with such a great fighter, you take so much away from it. And I feel like I have, and I've learned a lot. And I'm ready to showcase it.
What was one of the things that you would say that you've learned from that fight? Because to me, it was extremely enjoyable and competitive. Out of all your fights, that's the one that I enjoyed the most, the first fight and the second fight. Yeah. So when you talk about learning, Jai, what is it?
Just the levels, you know, like the levels up. Competing with someone at that level, you know, it's like when when the tide rises, you know, the boats either rise or they sink. You know what I mean? And we had to keep rising and rising. So, you know, it's just unlocking little things in your head and your body, seeing what you're capable of. You know, he clipped me with a good shot at the end, and you know, my nose is broke and stuff like that. So you just got to push through it, and yeah, you just take a lot from those fights. So it was a good learning curve, and you know, I feel like we have leveled up since.
Yeah, we love to see it, but you're fighting against a very live opponent, Jack Massey, somebody that also doesn't come to sit down, somebody that is competitive and also believes in himself. How do you see this fight going? And have you had a look at any of Jack Massey's fights?
I've seen a little bits of him, you know, not too much. I don't watch too much, you know. I watch a little bit, then I'll, you know, switch off and then come back and forth. My trainer does a lot of the watching, and then we practice at the gym, but man, I know I've got the skills to beat him. You know what I mean? When I'm fit and strong, and I can just adapt in the ring, as long as I'm fit, and I can do whatever I need to do to adapt. You know what I mean? I can beat any of these guys. So, you know, I'm expecting a good fight. I know he's going to come hard. He's going to walk forward. You know, he's going to fucking show a lot of aggression. He has to. You know what I mean? If he tries to stay back and box with me, man, I'll pick him apart. So I know he has to walk forward and make it aggressive. So let's see how tough he is. You know, I feel like he's going to be walking onto a lot of shots. So, you know, everyone's saying he's real durable and tough and stuff. So let's see, let's go there. I'm ready for these deep waters. That's where I live.
I love it. Talking about adaptability then, you mentioned about Brady's coming out and you had to adapt. Something that we saw on the weekend, touch on Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, having that quick switch in your brain, Jay, having that boxing brain to be able to think on your feet, and how somebody comes at you or how you go at them can determine the rest of the fight. Talk to us about adaptability and why you've got that, and you mentioned that.
Man, you just got to be ready for anything, you know what I mean? And like we spoke about earlier, the amateur pedigree coming into all the professional fights, and then the training. It's just we've prepared. We've ticked every box. You know what I mean? Anything he brings to the table, we've got an answer for. You know, we push ourselves to deep waters. We chase the pain in the gym. So I just feel like anything he brings, I can go deeper.
I like that, chase the pain. Talk to us about your thoughts about the fight that's just gone on Saturday night with Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. Your thoughts on that from a fighter's point of view?
Yeah, awesome. You know, it's awesome for the sport of boxing. You know, it just opens up the world even more. You know, he's only young. He's only 27, Daniel. So it's crazy, man. So, you know, he's young, hungry. He's got a lot more work to do. I reckon AJ will have another comeback. You know, he'll build himself back up. But, man, I respect both of them fighters. You know, you got to take your hat off to them.
After this fight, we've got Chris Billam-Smith, we've got Zerdo as well. The Cruiserweight division, are you going to stay there? Are you going to unify?
Definitely.
Okay.
I want to unify the division. I'll make weight easy. You know, I'll cruise. So, but I know when I want to go heavy.
Cruiserweight you are.
But I know when I want to go heavyweight, I'll be able to hold that weight easy too. You know, I can sit heavy if I just eat a lot and change my training a little bit. So, man, I'm ready to adapt. You know what I mean? But I really want to unify the Cruiserweight division first before I change my division. Exciting times ahead. Always a pleasure, Jay. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. All the best on October the 12th. Some say October's the best month of the year. It's my birthday month. Right.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.